Five. You're live.
Hey everybody! So Ala Esther Levy here with the EQ Institute, and we are having a very special guest and dear friend tonight, Jai.
Hi.
So Jack and I have been friends for a very, very long time.
20 years.
Is it really been 20 years?
20 years.
Oh my God.
Almost 20 years. I moved in 2001
gosh.
or what? No, 2019. It's almost 20 years.
20 years. And Mario, my wingman, aka boyfriend husband, is doing the video tonight. So because I spaced out and forgot the tripod, so he is here and he is, as always, 100% supportive and amazing. There he is. So, so tonight, we're going to be talking about yoga and the different benefits of yoga, and especially Kundalini Yoga, right?
Kundalini Yoga, okay.
Kundalini Yoga. But before we do that, I want to make sure that we do an introduction about who we are. So the EQ Institute our mission is to cultivate emotional health through business development and functional leadership training. And we actually foster a community of businesses, leaders, and individuals that their mission is actually to provide value to the marketplace. And how do we support them as the Institute? We support them because we provide these different services, whether it's technical support or in terms of like websites, marketing, consultant, EQ classes and EQ assessments, corporate trainings, live events, all those types of things. And that is how we support our clients, who then go out in the world and they perform at high peak performance for their clients and in the marketplace. And so that's what we do. And so every week, every Monday, we have this live where we bring on special guests like Jai that do amazing things in the world that actually help cultivate emotional health. And today's class, he said, was all about emotions.
Yes, today I feel okay. Today I have to talk about emotions. Afterwards, let me go ahead and do an experiential emotional class. What I did, I had my students. This was not a Kundalini class. This actually was a Hatha class. But I think yoga in general is very powerful for the emotions in general. So Kundalini, yes, and also Hatha yoga, because they both work with the nervous system. They both work with the energy centers. But Kundalini is different than Hatha, of course, and it is a bit more. No, I'd say actually both of them work with emotions very powerfully.
So let's get into it. Let's talk about, and then we're gonna have the positive news. So don't go anywhere.
Don't go away. Don't miss the positive news.
Exactly. We go to the Positive News Network, and we got you guys some awesome articles on positive news. So don't go anywhere.
Yes, that's awesome.
So tell me, and I'm so sorry today I won't be able to see who's on there. So if you're on there, we shout out, we give you a big hug and kiss. I know a couple of you had some health issues going on, and we hope that you're doing better. And that again, we always send you much love. So tell us a little bit about, first of all, yoga. You've been doing yoga for so long, and you've also been doing massage for so long, right? So tell us a little bit about how those two things, well, let's talk about yoga. How yoga, is so good for our emotions.
Yes. Okay, so like for example, today's class, I really want to focus on the emotions because we go through our day, we go through stressful days, sometimes we're at work or at home, school, all these different things coming at us, causing us to trigger, causing us to get stirred up in the emotional area sometimes, sometimes good, sometimes bad emotions. Not necessarily all emotions are bad, some are definitely great emotions. But anyway, they get stirred within us. And whenever we get like these emotional triggers stirred up within us, where do they go? Do you know where they go?
They get stuck.
Where do they get stuck?
They get stuck all over.
In the tissues.
Yes.
So some people say that the issues are within the tissue.
Right.
Okay? So that's where all of our emotional drama, our emotional anger, frustration, happiness, joy, it all gets stuck within the emotions and the body. So what does yoga and massage? It's actually the same thing. Yoga and massage really help to release those emotions in a very, very powerful way. They really help to remove them, not just from the tissues themselves specifically, but through the fascia tissue. Because the fascia tissue is made up mostly of water, right? And water is in a very intelligent, it's a very intelligent element. Mm-hmm. It has memory. Mm-hmm. So what happens is that you get all these emotions stirred up, gets stored in the fascia, which is water. That water then retains the memory of those emotions, and then they sometimes get manifested in pain, aches, trigger points, stuff like that. So what yoga and massage body work, what they both do specifically is they help to release those emotions that are stuck in the body. So for example, today what I have my students do, I have them, before class I had them sit in silence and breathe. Why breathing? Because breathing is a very, very powerful way to reboot the system. To reboot the system, and by tuning into your breath, you're kind of able to reset the emotional body and to really just kind of like shake yourself up in a moment so you can get more centered and more balanced versus maybe how you started, maybe heated or annoyed or enraged or whatever it may be. By just simply taking a nice big deep breath in, that's able to reset your body, reset your mind, reset your soul. And then when we engage in the yoga practice, then by doing the movement, which again engages the different tissues of fascia, by stretching the body, by strengthening the body, by causing the body to flex and to relax, you're able to then move all that energy, the emotional tension that gets stirred up in the body, and release it. And yoga is you're doing it to yourself. Massage or somebody's doing it for you. So they do the same thing. It's just one you're doing yourself, the other one is being manipulated by a massage therapist.
Yeah. So wow, that's amazing. There's also a concept of self-massage. You know, I remember buying some special oil, which I think it was all marketing. But the oil was really designed for self-massage and self-soothing and all that type of stuff. And I know that when I'm like overly stretched and my honey's not home and I need a foot massage, because that's for me, the feet, the reflexology, right, in our hands and our face and our feet, that for me is like gold, So sometimes when no one's around, I do it to myself, and it's amazing what it releases, And so I know that, we can do self-massage ourselves when no one is around, or, look, times are hard, right? So some of us can't afford maybe right now a massage. So it's okay, right, to self-soothe, to do your own massage. Is there any techniques that you could recommend for someone
to do like
self?
Well, what somebody recommends is probably a specific oil that probably had different aromas, like different essences, Because aromatherapy, because aromatherapy also helps to trigger the emotional release by using the plant energy. But there is specifically Ayurveda has what's called Abhyanga, which means massage. So it's Ayurvedic self-massage. What you do, you just take some coconut oil. I prefer coconut oil, and you just rub it all over your body from head to toe. Kind of like you're like going to go to the beach. You just rub it from head to toe, all over your body, out through. And this is our emotional mind right here. Okay, so the gut is what's considered to be the emotional brain. And why? Because if you look at the gut, what does it look? It's like a brain. But all our emotions originate from here. If you think about like that gut feeling that you get, why do people say, I have this gut feeling about something? Well, those are your emotions. But keep in mind that what else do we have in our gut? We have parasites. So sometimes our emotions are not even ours. They could be emotions that we're picking from other people. They can be emotions that are from parasites in our body. So
from diet, right?
From diet,
diet.
So Abhyanga, what Abhyanga does, first of all, it helps to, by using specific essential oils, helps to create like a barrier, not just for your own protection, but to protect other people from you, and for you to be protected from other people's emotional energy. Because that's why it's Abhyanga self-massage, and what the oil does, it creates like a subtle barrier, like a subtle field of energy around you to help keep that that negative energy, emotion that you may be picking from other people. And then for the gut, since there may be parasites that are in here, what are parasites? Parasites are consumers, right? They feed off of not really good things. They're parasites.
Right.
So whenever we have like a colon that's very parasitic, then a lot of our emotions are going to be also very parasitic. We can become very needy, very hungry, very consumer oriented. We want things, just like a parasite.
Right.
So that's why it's very important to not only take care of yourself externally through yoga, but also internally, like through colon cleanses, through kolima, stuff like that.
Food.
Through food, by eating proper food, probiotic.
It's interesting what you're saying, because I know that we've been doing celery juice now for probably 6 months or so, and we feel amazing. And we've also cut out certain foods. Now, I'm not saying that everybody should cut out these foods, but I will say that we feel completely different. I used to have major digestive issues, and now I feel so much better. And I've always been intuitive, but now I'm getting downloads every minute, So it's it's really, really powerful. So what we eat, and I've talked about this a million times, right? What we eat we are what we eat, right? Like when they say, what do you get when you cut a lemon? Lemon juice. So you are what you eat.
Yes.
And I know it's hard. It's not easy because I know when I had to cut out pizza and I cut out dairy and I cut all these things, it was a major, major process. And I had to do a lot of neuroprogramming to associate pain with those foods because they were causing a lot of problems for me. But there's plenty of alternatives, right? There's gluten-free pizzas out there. There's cauliflower crust. There's all kinds of cheeses now that you can get alternatives. Now, obviously, we don't want to go crazy because then you don't want to ingest too much soy, right? But it's so right what you're saying.
Yeah.
And the gut is so connected to our intuition, and the more clean we are, the more we can download.
Right.
Our decisions are better, right?
Not
Decisions,
even that, but even
stress, management, all these different things.
For sure. And then going back to yoga, so why do I like doing yoga so much? Because yoga means union. So you're not only are you working with the emotional body, but you also work with the energetic body, and you're unifying your subconscious to your higher self. Okay. And so, like for example, my class embodies movement, sound, and mantra. So why do I do that? Because, for example, tonight's class, we chanted a mantra called Only Love. Why I chose that mantra specifically? Because if you kind of think about every emotion that we experience, it either comes from love or fear. That's really it. Either the vibration of love or the vibration of fear. Every emotion, whether it's hate, anger, jealousy, envy, all those are fear-based emotions. That's connected to what I call the tree of knowledge. If you look at like love or peace, happiness, joy, those are all love-based emotions, which are connected to the tree of life. So those are really the only two emotions that we really navigate from, love or fear. So my class embodies movement, again, to help us remove the emotional junk that we get stored within our fascia tissues. And then I have them lay down and I have them experience crystal bowls for like 10 minutes. Why? Because the crystal bowls is like doing a massage to the cells and to the mind. So you're massaging the water within the body and at the cellular level, allowing us to harmonize our cells. Why? Because Dr. Emoto proved that water responds to thoughts. And water changes based upon our thought process, or the words that we project at water itself.
I went to see him, by the way.
Me too.
Oh, wait, did you see him when he was here? Oh, he's so great. He's so great.
And so then,
Unfortunately.
So then, so if you think about that specifically, how we are made up of water, right? The fascia tissue is primarily made up of water. We're having all these emotions that are coming at us from other sources, from our food, from the people, from our environment, from the news that we're watching. We're getting all this stuff stored in our body. So sound is a very, very powerful way to molecularly restructure the water in our body to make the water more healthy and more harmonized. And then I use mantra because mantra is sound as well. And mantra is intentional thought. So we're always creating around us. Sometimes, unfortunately, we're creating unconsciously by thinking random thoughts. But when you're chanting a specific mantra like only love, you're injecting only love energy around you and through your body. And since the mind cannot differentiate between what it sees externally and what it sees internally, it doesn't matter if I'm yelling at somebody else. My mind, my cells, we see that as me being yelled at. Because the mind cannot differentiate at all between who you're talking to. That's why dreams sometimes feel so real. Because they're dreams in our mind, but yet we sometimes wake up in an emotional state like a fear, right? But yet we were dreaming. That's because the mind cannot tell that you're dreaming or that you're awake.
Absolutely.
So emotions, with that being said, what is also energy? Energy is energy, or emotions are energy, emotion. So that's why using mantra, sound, and yoga for me is just a very, very powerful way to help eliminate the toxic emotions that we bring through our day, and to kind of reprogram the body, the subconscious mind, to our higher self through yoga, through union. And today's class, I even asked people, I had them really think about their feelings throughout the day, what they brought in with them through the class. At the end of the class, I asked them, okay, so now think about what you guys had going on throughout the day. Do any of you feel a shift? Has anything shifted from you from the class or from... And all of them said yes.
Absolutely.
Everyone said yes. I feel a lot more relief. I feel lighter. I feel better. I feel not as worried as I was. And that's because this technology works. It's technology for the soul. And it's just a very, very powerful wisdom, sacred knowledge that's been passed down from generations.
Yeah. Well, I remember, when, the curriculum is called Recognize Your Level of Crazy and Manage It with EQ. And, you know, the reason it's called that is because, you know, I truly believe, and I hear it all the time, is that we all have a little crazy within us, right? It's just a matter of recognizing our personal crazy and then being able to manage it. So, you know, the different tools are these different tools: yoga, massage, music, whatever, nature. And I remember that for me, you know, I'm a fan of yoga, I'm a fan of holistic health, and that day that you invited me to come to class, you know, I was really stressed out. So I came to the class, and the class is how long?
Hour and 15 minutes.
Hour and 15 minutes. And that was a Kundalini class, and I felt like a new woman. I really did. I felt completely clear. I felt centered. I felt, I had a lot of clarity about certain things that were just, bogging me down. And that lasted several days, that clarity. Usually, when you don't have these kinds of tools, you got to work a lot harder. You know what I mean? Because you are being bombarded. But when you have this technology, I really can say when I was doing yoga a couple times a week, I was much more clear back then. And back then I was eating not so great. Now I'm eating a lot better. So I'm just in a different state. You know what I mean? I'm much more clear naturally now.
That's awesome.
But yoga has helped me so much every time I do it. And your class specifically, because you're just amazing.
Oh.
And actually, I'm going to put you on the spot. And if you can't, you can't. But it's okay. And how are we doing on time? What time is it? Do you know? Any chance? No? Okay. So, and is there any questions? Guys, if you have any questions, please type them in. And Mario, you can read us the questions, okay? And then we will make sure to address them while we're here. So, I was going to tell you, so we have a class coming up on our second part 2. The first class that's coming up is going to be August 27th. And that class is all about, recognize your level of crazy and manage it with EQ, and then attract and sustain your ideal mate. But it's also for anything you desire. So the theme is dating, but it could be for anything, right? Because at the end of the day, we're talking about EQ. And we're talking about a lot of different things about what, how we can do it, what are the tools available. And it's going to be a very comprehensive hour and a half or so. And that's part 1. And then part 2 is going to be in September, like 2 weeks later. And that's where the work will actually happen. So we're going to have assessments, we're going to have some group activity, workshops and things. And we're going to have an intention ceremony. And when you were talking about the bowls, I was like, oh, I wonder if Mr. Jai would like to come.
What day?
And do that for us. It's going to be September 8th. Unless we change the date, but I'm pretty sure we're going to keep that date.
That's a Saturday or
It's a Sunday.
so
John might actually join us. Is it Jai? I can never say his name
Jai
right.
means, it stands for victory.
Victory. That is such a great name for you, because I've watched you go through your process, and I think it's interesting when you're friends with someone for 20 years, right? You see so many, the ups, the downs, the sideways, it's like, you know what I mean? And then you come out on the other side, and you're like, wow, you know what I mean? So, it's really a beautiful thing, and and you're there for each other, in terms of like family. Like you're watching me and my folks right now going through their transition, into different health challenges, and being the eldest, learning how to go through that process, and how my EQ is now being taken to the next level. You know what I mean? And then also building the institute, and also finding an amazing partner and being able to sustain all these different things. Your EQ is really, really important, and that's why I'm so passionate. That's why we're so passionate about it, and you're so passionate about it as well, because you're in the holistic field and you're doing all these beautiful things. So I honor you.
Thank you. I honor you both for what you do.
So should we transition now and go into the news? I think we're at that point, right?
It's 9:50.
Can I just share one last thing?
Yes, absolutely.
So keep in mind that you do have the ability to choose. So we have like I said, you have emotions of love or fear, right? So there are moments where we get caught up in just this energy of anger or fear. But you can always stop yourself, take a breath, and keep in mind that whenever you're choosing that energy of fear, we have free will. We do have free will. Do you agree we have free will?
Yes, absolutely.
We have free will, but we also have destiny. Do you agree we have
Yes.
destiny?
Yes.
So that's where the balance comes in between free will and destiny. So we have a free will, but I personally feel the only free will choice that we truly have on this earth is to choose between love or fear. And when we choose fear path, then we have a destiny based upon that fear path. If we choose love, then we have a destiny based upon love path. So if you ever are getting caught up in that emotion of just fear, whether it's anger, sadness, whatever it is, whenever you get caught up in that emotion, drop back, breathe, drop in yourself. You need to meditate, you need to go alone, work in nature, take a class, whatever, and shift your reality. Shift your reality from a fear-based reality to a love-based reality.
So give us
change
an
your
example.
destiny.
Give us like a because I'm all about practical, right?
Practical, okay.
Give us a practical example.
So, okay, when you're driving and you're stuck in traffic and you're like, oh my God, where am I going? Well, a lot of times you can get hostile, right? You get hostile.
You get hostile?
I'm saying people get hostile. I get hostile too. I do get triggered. Of course I do.
Yes,
so
we have to be
we can get hostile. We can get like really triggered. And keep in mind that if you're getting that way, you're not only just sending that vibration out for yourself, then you're also sending that out. Mm-hmm. Okay? And then you're going to create a reality based upon that fear or that anger. And you don't know how that's going to affect because we can't see the future. We can't see beyond the now. But you have no idea what's going to trickle effect, what boomerang effect, what butterfly effect that has when you're moving from that space of anger or fear. And it can be start off with a simple traffic. Or it can even start off when you wake up in the morning. Like you wake up grumpy, you wake out of bed. When you wake up out of bed and you wake up grumpy or in a bad mood, stop for a moment, reboot yourself, and instead of starting your day on that energy of that destiny of fear, shift it to that destiny of love vibration and change your whole entire reality. Because
So
that's
then
we're
how?
always changing our reality that way.
So then how do you like this? Because this is, I think, the $1 million question for everybody: destiny versus free will. So, okay, so we create this new reality based on, let's say, fear. So what happens to our destiny? Where, like, because we had this destiny over here, right? Like, whatever it is. But now you started this other reality of fear. What's happening over here to this ball?
To that love?
No, to that destiny.
Of fear?
No, that ultimate destiny that we talk about.
The ultimate.
The ultimate.
Okay, but what I feel that there is no wrong or right. Okay, there's not saying that the fear destiny is wrong, or the love destiny is wrong. Neither one are necessarily wrong or right. It's just a matter of what we're going to choose for ourselves. That's all. So what do you want to choose? Do you want to choose a reality based on fear, or do you want to choose a reality based on?
But is this destiny over here? Is it always the same one? It's just going to look different.
That's a good question because keep in mind there are multiple realities, right?
Right.
And of course, there's these multiple realities are again, I think, created based upon these love or fear emotions.
Yes.
But you can always go ahead and let's say like. That's a really good question because there's all these different possibilities,
yes,
right?
exactly.
And none of them are better or none of them are worse. They're just
Exactly.
different potentialities, but we don't know because we can't see the future.
Exactly.
We only have to choose what do you want to create, love or fear.
Right. So when people say we have a destiny, and I'm like, okay, so you have this destiny right here, the big D, right? And you're choosing all these different paths, regardless, love or fear, whatever, but you're making different choices. How do you know that you're still headed towards this D, the big D?
The big D.
You know what I'm saying?
Is that big D, do you want that big D to be destined on love or do you want that big D to be destined on fear? Because if you're a person who's reactive, because you should have Kabbalah, right? Kabbalah talks about reactive and proactive.
That's how we know each other.
So reactive is that fear-based reality, and proactive is that love-based reality.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter, again, which one we're really doing it, but at the end of the day, if you're choosing that reactive or that fear-based reality, then you're going to ultimately have a destiny that's based on fear, and you'll maybe, not saying for sure, because I can't read the future, but maybe you won't have been able to reach your most highest potential. So
the big D.
Of the big D. Doesn't mean that your life's going to be bad.
Right.
Because your life could be great. You could have a wonderful, fruitful life based on fear.
Right.
But could it have been as great if you would have chosen the reality based on love?
Right.
Could it, who knows?
Right.
We don't know. I can only say that I feel that those are the two realities that we create. Love and fear.
Well, I think, how are we doing on time, honey?
9:50.
9:50. So, I think in terms of with the destiny, with the big D, I think that, we come in with a a mission, a path. And my mentor, which is someone I found on YouTube when I was in my, just in my questioning moment, it's called lifeexplained.com. It's an amazing, amazing gentleman who draws out these different topics. And he explains these spiritual laws in such a way that is mind-blowing, okay? And it's actually, I will put it up on the live tonight, but it's also on our YouTube channel. So...
Or can I just share with you?
Yeah.
So as I was talking, I'm thinking, maybe we do ultimately end up at our ultimate destiny, but it's really the path of how we get there.
Yeah.
Do you want that path to be soft and sweet, or well, I don't necessarily think all paths are going to be soft or sweet, but do you want one that's going to be based on love, or do you want one that's going to be based on fear? And I think maybe once we get to the same destiny, it doesn't matter what, but really, like, how's the path that you want to get there?
I think that's what it is, though. I think that's, that's what I was saying, is that, we come in, into this life, and we have this big D, right? And how we get to the big D is really determined by what you were saying, is, the love or the fear. And, I think it may look a little different in terms of, like, let's say the big D is that you're going to be a singer, right? Or that you're going to be a person in communications or elevating consciousness or a teacher or something like that, right? But we don't know what that looks like because there's all these different choices of what that could look like.
And again, wouldn't the big D be death? Isn't that the ultimate destiny to let you die? No?
Well, yes, of course. So and actually, we talked about that because the story ends at the big D. So yes.
So I think that's the ultimate destiny is death. But how do you want to live your life throughout the process? Really, because they always say it's not necessarily the destiny. Or the destination. It's a journey. Right. That's a lot of people say. Yes. It's not the destination, because we're gonna all be destined to end up in the same place, which is death. Yeah. What's the journey that you want to experience?
Absolutely.
Love or fear.
You were there when I was working at the funeral home for like a minute. You went through that journey with me, right? You knew about that, right? So I worked at a funeral home for like a minute, and I came up with this concept because I was walking around in the cemetery, and I was, just getting to know the land and understanding what I'm doing, my new job, and all these things. And as I was looking at the dates, people's the stones, right? The gravestones. I would see the start date, the birth date, and then the death date. And it came to me about between the dashes. And that was actually, a concept that I had going for like a minute, when I was recreating myself and transforming and everything after I was laid off many, many years ago. And I had this conversation about between the dashes. What are we doing between the dashes? And that's what you're talking about, is this journey to this big D. Right. But I really think that this big D is this ultimate, like, obviously, both of us were meant to step into the holistic realm. We were meant to teach people in a bigger way. We were meant to guide, and I don't want to say teach, right, because who am I to teach, but we can guide, we can help, we can inspire, support, right?
Yoga is
right?
I used to hate yoga, actually.
Right?
Worse,
So here we are doing these things. So I think that the ultimate destiny is maybe expansion, a channel of expansion, but you end up being this or that in the huge what these things look like, right? So yoga instructor, teacher, marketer, website designer, whatever, But really, when Mario and I met, we knew that we had a bigger vision, and so that could look through website building or marketing or whatever, So it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it is. It's quite cool.
So you have anything else to say about this yoga stuff? And then, but you're gonna stay with us until through the positive news, right?
Sure, why not?
Yeah. Okay.
But no, it's this last time I said, just be mindful of your choices and your path, and again, don't ever get hung up on if you do make a decision that you feel is bad. Because again, we're all humans, and you can always go ahead and shift it. You can always go ahead and make a better decision the next day. So we're all humans, we're on the same journey together, and just don't beat yourself up. Just continue doing the best you can, and everything at the end of the day will always be okay. Because one thing I have come to experience, that the subconscious and the higher self, which is connected to Creator and Source, are always working with us and for us. So keep that in mind. It doesn't even matter if you're stressed out one day and you get mad at somebody. Just know for whatever the reason, that's what happened. Don't dwell on it. Just know that the universe is always working with you and for you, and everything at the end of the day will always be okay.
Let me ask you a very important question, and then we're going to get into the positive news, okay, guys? Any questions out there? Honey, any questions? Okay. So, have you ever seen a feather?
Yes.
Okay. So, lately, I've been seeing feathers. And, so I look it up, because it's messages, right? Everything's a message. And I look up feathers, and last night specifically, I was having a moment because there's a lot of challenges right now, for me, and we're dealing with a lot of different things. And so this morning I woke up and I was like, okay, it's a new day. We're going to start over. We're going to do what you said, right? Which was, really reset and come from a place of love and certainty. And sometimes it's hard, right? Like I teach this stuff too, and it's hard. It's not easy. And it's like, Ja's saying is that you have to be kind to yourself, be compassionate, and take it easy. So, it was very hard this morning to get up and to get going and everything. And okay, so I went, and Mario always takes me. He's like the best. He takes me out to the car, like sending me off to school basically, right? When I leave for the day. And so this morning, I had a situation with I work part-time with the acupuncturist, and I get there. And there was an issue with the entrance. So I had to go back home, and I live down the street, literally. I had to come back home, call him to ask him to drive me. So he comes out, I am on my way to the house to get him. And as I'm walking up to my house, I see a huge feather. It was the biggest I've ever seen. Oh, there goes the lights. So I see this huge feather, and given that I've been doing research on feathers and what it means your angelic forces are around, it means your guardian angel is around, it means that and the color sometimes is specific to transformation. So I found a white with a black feather. And it was beautiful, and it was exactly what I needed. It was oh my God.
You knew that the universe was working with
I knew it. I knew it because it was out of nowhere, I see this feather, and it was I had to see it. You know what I mean? Because it was blowing kind of in the wind, but it was laying there. And if I hadn't come back home, who knows maybe I would have saw it somewhere else. Who knows? But the point is, it was really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You always see the lights.
Yeah. Maybe it's a timer. Okay, it's okay. So let's talk about the news, guys. So this is thank you so much, Ja, for being with us. We're going to talk about the news real quick here, and then we're going to let you guys go. So, we take it upon ourselves to look for 3 positive articles. So we went on the Positive News Network, and we found 3 really cool articles. I think I'm going to just do the one, because I think we're down on time, right? So it was something about, there's a neighbor, it was a neighborhood, and the woman has a son who's autistic. And she has been very busy. She's a single mom, and she's, dealing with a lot. And she couldn't take care of her yard. And some of these communities have very strict rules about taking care of the yard. So she got a letter from the community, the board, saying, hey lady, you gotta take care of your yard, get on it, right? Poor woman. So she posts on Facebook, hey, I'm really frustrated. I'm a single mother. I'm dealing with a handicapped child. And here I am having to deal with the lawn. I can't. I physically cannot. And within a couple of days, the community came together and helped her.
Wow.
With her lawn, is helping her now, supporting her, and really getting involved. And so stuff like that is what just really fuels my heart. I don't know about you,
wow.
right?
Yeah,
it's amazing. So we need more stuff like that, guys. Really help support each other. That's a part of raising your EQ. Really support each other. Really help each other. If you see someone struggling, lend a helping hand. And together we can get through this.
And don't be afraid to ask for help. If you need help, don't be afraid to ask. Because sometimes people don't know. We all have stuff going on in our lives, and sometimes we don't know. And the only way to really know is if you share, at least you reach out and ask for help. So don't ever be afraid to ask for help.
You're absolutely right. And I know I am guilty of that because sometimes I don't want to ask for help. You know, not that I don't want it, but I'm just maybe embarrassed, and not even embarrassed. I think it's more like I don't want to burden anybody. So I will say that we definitely need some help. We need support with my parents. We need, you know, if you want to drive them somewhere, you want to volunteer, you want to come take them out, whatever. But, you know, any help you can lend would be much appreciated. Do you need any support with anything? You can ask.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Honey, you need any support for anything? Okay, so he's good. Okay, so we're going to wrap up this segment. We are so appreciative, Job. Thank you so much.
And you're welcome to come to
here.
the class here at 8 p.m. on Mondays at Ayama Yoga. And I also have a studio in Hollywood, 2043 Madison Street. So.
And we will post it. We'll post both of those locations. He's an amazing teacher, a great massage therapist. And thank you guys for joining us. And as always, we always want to do the quote. So if you guys don't know it, it's okay. But eventually get to know it. So on 3, ready? So the more you know and understand yourself, the more the world will know and understand you too. And remember, what's the best that can happen? Okay, bye. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for joining.